All right. My name is Kanisha Anderson, and we are doing our presentation on the Ellison Preschool for school-wide implementation of FCT, PECS, and school social narratives. A little bit about myself is that I am currently in the Ball State University's special education program. I am graduating next semester, and I've been working in applied behavior analysis for about 3 years. I love what I do. I was inspired to get in the field because of a family member who also has a learning barrier that impacts his ability to learn. And that is some detail about me. I am passing it on to Catherine Dry to tell you some detail about herself.
My name is Catherine, and I am in the master's program for Ball State University for Applied Behavior Analysis. I've been working in the field for 3 years, working with children with autism, and I love what I do. I'm excited to be a part of the behavior consultation team, and next is Neely Hallerman.
Hi, I'm Neely. I also am in the process of obtaining my master's at BSU. I also have 3 years of experience. I was actually a paraprofessional in a public school for the last 3 years, serving children ages 5 to 7 with various needs, including Down syndrome, autism, anxiety, and other developmental delays. And I actually just currently switched jobs, and I have become a behavior therapist in private practice.
So Ellison Preschool is an urban preschool in Illinois with 200 students. 150 of those students receive special education services, 50 students are nonverbal, and 5 students currently use PECS, or Picture Exchange Communication System. Some concerns at Ellison, the children engage in tantrum behaviors and aggression. The teachers would like to see sharing behaviors increase. And today we will present to you evidence-based research and intervention ideas that are proven to decrease those undesirable behaviors and increase good sharing behavior and communication skills. Your school has a lot of great resources and staff. There are 20 classroom teachers, 40 aides, 2 speech pathologists, 1 occupational therapist, 1 physical therapist, 4 to 6 daily volunteers, and 1 BCBA.
Ellison Preschool Interventions. Research demonstrates that functional communication training is an effective way to combat problem behavior. Functional communication training, there are 2 that we're going to demonstrate on PECS, which, as Catherine had mentioned, is the Picture Exchange Communication System, as well as social stories. We will also discuss extinction implementation procedures. FCT, what is it? FCT is the acronym for Functional Communication Training. FCT is a way to teach children how to communicate with words, spoken or printed, pictures, or other symbols to communicate their wants and needs. Reinforcement is provided when individuals respond appropriately to the communication request. For example, Scatone and Billhofer in 2008 taught a nonverbal child to answer, "What do you want?" which is a command, or "What is it?" that's a tact, to obtain access to preferred items and activities, and thus reduce aggressive behaviors. PECS, what is it? The Picture Exchange Communication System is an augmentative communication system that is commonly used for individuals who have been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, individuals who are nonverbal, or for individuals with limited functional communication ability. According to Martocchio and Rosales in 2017, the Picture Exchange Communication System comprises of 6 training phases that should be taught sequentially in order for the communication system to become functional for the learner. Choice boards can be created using picture symbols for children to request items that they prefer. Here's an example of a communication system with picture symbols. On the left, you'll see there are little sentence strips. These could be printed on cardstock and laminated for durability. In addition to the beginning of the sentence, such as "I want the," there might be pictures also on the strip or on another board which are also laminated on cardstock and Velcroed. That way, when a child wants something, they could point or say, I want the, and then tear off the picture and bring it to you. That would be their way to communicate. For our implementation program, we have provided and created, Catherine has, a video that demonstrates how to effectively use PECS with your students. That will be provided and used at the half-day training session. Social stories, what are they? Social stories are narratives written to specifically teach students appropriate social interactions, behaviors, and skills. They often use simple language, visual cues, and directions for appropriate behavior. Payne, Sidner, Vladescu, and Nirgudkar in 2015 utilized social stories in FCT to decrease problem behaviors and increase manding in 2 participants. Social stories can be written specific to one student or to an entire class. They can be written to teach children how to ask for toys, wait for toys, and what appropriate behaviors are expected in the classroom. Here's an example of pages that are in our social stories, and this one was created especially for Ellison Preschool. You can see that we use engaging visual pictures along with words that the children would enjoy in a story format. An example of a slide you can see down at the bottom says, when a super student wants a toy and another student is already playing with that toy, they can ask to share. So these pictures in the stories or pages in the stories are read to the students, and they create an example of what expected behavior is, and it teaches them that. You could use these, print these out and use them in a book form, or you could use the PowerPoint presentations on Smartboard and use technology to present the stories.
Now we are going to talk a little bit more about extinction. Extinction is a procedure that denies access to preferred items and activities during problematic behavior. Studies have shown that extinction is an effective way to decrease problem behaviors when implemented consistently and with fidelity. With extinction is first introduced, Hangelpen, Crockett, Van Stone, De Leon, and Bauman in 2000 found that participants who were exposed to a procedure, including extinction, exhibited an extinction burst in which the problem behavior briefly increased prior to decreasing. However, only when the extinction portion of the intervention was introduced did the participants make meaningful, significant improvement in thinning their reinforcement schedules and increasing appropriate behavior. Tips for extinction. Do not verbally acknowledge the behavior. Remove preferred item activity. Regain compliance by implementing behavior momentum. Example of this, one-step nonverbal imitation, such as clapping hands, jumping in place, touching toes. Once the child is able to independently respond to the target comprising the behavior momentum sequence, reinforce appropriate behavior with minor verbal praise. Example, compliance and refraining from tantrum and or physical aggression. Determine motivation for reinforcement. Use functional communication training to teach the appropriate way to man for escape access. Example of a code prompt that could be used is, I'm playing with this, can I have a turn? Or using PECS to identify tangible. If item is available for sharing, reinforce appropriate man. Immediately provide tangible. If the item is unavailable, reinforce the appropriate man as well. And also explain that the item is unavailable and they must find something else. Reinforce compliance, and if non-compliance is displayed, repeat steps 1 through 3 and redirect child to another item that is available. Our plan to help Ellison Preschool. First, we plan to meet with administration to discuss concerns. Next, collect ABC data, operationally define target behaviors. Next, discuss plan with administration, collect baseline data. After this, staff training day, followed by implementation, and lastly, evaluate and adjust if necessary.
We plan to address all 3 tiers of intervention. First, tier 1, social stories and modeling how to share. PECS will also be introduced to all children so that they can become familiar with picture symbols. In Tier 2, we would utilize PECs in small groups, and this would be considered for higher needs children. So the social stories and the PECs that were introduced universally to all the children didn't quite cut it. So they might need a little bit more small group instruction. And in Tier 3, for the children who are nonverbal and are exhibiting continued aggression after introducing social stories and small group functional communication training, these children may require Tier 3 intervention supports. And this would include a more specialized plan that includes one-to-one instruction of PECs as well as extinction procedures.
Our strategy. First, collect data and understand the behavior concerns of Ellison Preschool. Next, provide a half-day teacher-staff training session to educate staff on FCT, PECs, and social stories. Then, model and instruct implementation methods at half-day training session. Following this, provide data sheets and analyze baseline and intervention data. Lastly, provide continued support and instruction of staff.
Some materials needed for intervention are software or computer to create picture symbols and additional social stories, laminator machine and film, Velcro, cardstock, binder, visual timers, data collection sheets, which the BCT will provide and analyze, and social stories created by the BCT. Here you'll see some data collection sheets. On your left is the ABC data form, and with the ABC data form, you just check which behavior occurs, write the student's name, times of the behavior, then check what happened before and after the behavior. The other data sheet on your right is the partial interval recording data sheet, and this can be used for both baseline and intervention data collection. It's made to be convenient and simple. The teacher just needs one page to write on for all-day data collection, and it is split into 10-minute increments. You can see with this type of data how the class is progressing as a whole, as well as how the individuals in your class are progressing. How staff will help support. We suggest that main classrooms teachers focus on reading the social stories to the entire class during circle time. During center playtime, we suggest the teacher and the aides break the class into 3 groups and rotate between desired play areas. During this time, the staff can introduce picture symbols on the choice boards and activity schedules, as well as place them on shelves holding or next to desired items. Additionally, staff can select times that makes most sense to address children with lower verbal skills to work with them individually. Furthermore, physical therapists, occupational therapists, and speech pathologists will incorporate the use of PECs and FCT during their individual sessions. Finally, volunteers can assist with the printing, cutting, and laminating PECs pieces and boards.
Funding, professional development, and parent involvement. Technology costs up to $4,000, includes iPads and visual interaction active boards. Before implementing the iPad system, Ellison School will be utilizing other methods of implementation. Each nonverbal child will be provided with a PECs book. Startup costs for basic supplies estimated to be about $500. BCT services estimated to be $1,700 to $2,900, which includes 10 consultation hours with BCT and monthly or biweekly parent trainings in the school year. Half-day professional trainings will include a presentation on PECs, social stories, and extinction procedures. Free parent training will be offered for FCT and PECs. Social stories can be shared with families to read at home. Tips: be consistent. Ask questions. Keep language simple and direct. Always acknowledge and encourage appropriate attempts to communicate. Talk with your students even if they cannot currently talk back to you. Model appropriate behaviors. Stay calm if problem behaviors increase or persist. Do not talk negatively about a student in front of the student. Be creative in thinking up different ways to get your students to ask questions for assistance or ask for help. For example, hide the crayons. Put preferred items in boxes with hard to open lids. Place items in harder to reach places. Make crafts that require multiple pieces. Do anything that helps your client get more opportunities to request from you and his peers. Collect data daily and pay attention to your students' progress. And thank you for giving us the time and listening to our presentation.